back to Fearless Fridays. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, March 15th, and this is episode 20 of Fearless Fridays. And as always, I thank you for watching, whether you're watching on YouTube or IGTV or Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of those things. I appreciate the love. As always, I hope that something that I share helps you or blesses you or challenges you just a bit or gets you to think about things slightly differently. So thank you so much for watching and joining me. Speaking of thinking about things differently, that is what I want to talk about today. And I have a title for this episode. I'm calling it Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Don't be afraid of the dark. And the idea for this episode, the discussion behind this episode came to me in two different ways this week, and I'm going to share those ways with you. One way was that I was having a discussion with some friends, and we were talking about a passage of scripture that talks about God separating the light from the dark. And in this passage of scripture, the light was separated from the dark, and the light was called good, but the darkness was not called bad. So I want you to hold that in your mind. That's one way that this discussion came to me. The other way was that I was walking through a store, just a regular department store, and I came across a display of night lights. And I started to think about what we use night lights for, and I started to think about babies and kids and how we put night lights in their bedrooms so that if they wake up in the middle of the night, they won't be completely surrounded by darkness. Maybe they're afraid of the dark. They think that there's a monster in the closet. They think that there are monsters under their bed and they only come out at night. They only come out in the dark. And so if there's a little night light there, the monsters won't come out to get them. And so I was thinking about this two different ways. The passage of scripture where the light was separated from the dark, and then also the night light that allows us to give a little light to a room or a hallway so that our kids are not afraid of the dark. And I started thinking about how we are socialized to be afraid of the dark. We are, socialized as kids to be afraid of the dark. Like I said, I talked about the monsters in the closet and the monsters under the bed that only come out at night. They only come out in the dark. But then also we have all of these movies and these films about horrible things that happen in the dark, horrible things that happen at night. And then we grow into adults and we still have that idea about darkness inside of us, and that kind of governs the way we think about darkness. That governs the way we carry ourselves in darkness. But I want to challenge you. This is what I said at the beginning. I want to challenge you to think about the darkness in a different way. Like I said, when there is light all around us, we can see everything that's happening. We see what's happening in front of us. We see what's happening behind us. We see what's happening on both sides of us. We can make split-second decisions based on what we see. But when we are walking in darkness, we have to make our decisions based on what we know and not necessarily what we see. And what we know, take for example the night light in your kid's room. The nightlight might illuminate the bed, the corner of the bed, the corner of the table, the dresser, the door. But if there's no nightlight and there's no light on, you would have to make your decisions about how you're maneuvering in the room based on what you know. You know where the furniture is. You know where the bed is. You know where the dresser is. You know where the door is. And so you're maneuvering in the room in the darkness, not based on what you see. You're maneuvering based on what you know. Now, sometimes in our lives, not sometimes, but all the times, we all go through times in our lives where we are walking through life in the light, and that looks like we can see everything that's happening. We're confident because we know the path that we're on. We're confident because we know exactly what we're supposed to do. We are confident. We're feeling strong. We're feeling sure. We're feeling sturdy. Our steps and our strides are long because we are walking confidently in the direction that we're meant to walk in. And we know that this is the right direction because we can see it. But in the dark moments of our lives, how are we maneuvering? Are we maneuvering scared? Are we maneuvering afraid? Are we maneuvering slowly with trepidation, thinking, oh my goodness, something is going to jump out at me. I can't see everything. I don't know what's in front of me. I don't know what's behind me. I don't know what's all around me. And so I'm afraid to move. Is that the way we're functioning in the darker moments of our lives? That could be the way that we're functioning. But the darkness might not necessarily be a bad thing. The darkness could be shielding you from seeing all those things that might scare you off of your path in the light. The darkness might be a way of testing you to see if you were paying attention to what was happening all around you in the light. The darkness could be a way of growing your faith to trust and rely on what you know and not just what you see. When we're in the light, we can think of instances in our lives where we were in the dark and we were carried through, where we were taken care of, where provision was made, where things worked out in our favor. And so we're in the light and we remember those moments and we're like, okay, yes, I remember that. But now I don't necessarily need to hold on to that because I'm in the light and I can see everything. But the darkness gives us opportunities to remember what happened last time there was darkness. The darkness gives us opportunities to rely and trust and have faith that the way that we were carried out the last time there was darkness, the way that we were provided for the last time there was darkness, the way that we were taken care of the last time there was darkness, we're going to be provided for and carried out and taken care of in that same way in the darkness. The darkness is a way to test whether or not we were paying attention in the light. Were you paying attention to the path that you were supposed to be on? Were you paying attention to the purpose that you were supposed to be living according to? Were you paying attention to the vision that you had, the vision that was set out in front of you? Because if you were paying attention in the light, you can still stay on that same path in the dark. You can still live in that same purpose in the dark. You can still carry out that same vision in the dark because you know it. You know it. You know it in your heart. You know it in your mind. And you don't necessarily need a lot of light around you in order to carry out and maneuver according to what you know. The darkness is an opportunity for you to rely, for you to grow your trust, for you to grow your faith, for you to remember how you were carried out, how you were provided for, how you were taken care of in the darkness. It's an opportunity to know whether or not you were paying attention in the light. So I want you to think about light and dark in a new way. Think about darkness specifically in a new way. Darkness is an opportunity for you to rely on what you know and not necessarily just what you see. It's an opportunity to grow your faith. It's an opportunity to trust. It's an opportunity to test yourself. It's an opportunity to know this is the path I'm supposed to be on. I'm going to continue to walk on this path, even though I can't see everything around me, even though I can't see the light at the end, even though there's no light illuminating my steps. I know that this is the path I'm supposed to be on. I paid attention in the light, and I'm going to walk this path even when it's dark, and I know that I will be taken care of. I know that I will be fine, and I know eventually I'll get back to the light. So that's what I want to share with you this week. Darkness is an opportunity to rely on what you know and not just what you see. Carry that with you and challenge the way you think about darkness. You don't necessarily have to be scared of the monsters and the boogeyman and the things in the closet. It's an opportunity to challenge yourself. It's an opportunity for growth. So that's what I want to share with you. Take it with you. As always, fear is stupid. Get out in the world. Live, love, go, do, be. And don't be afraid of the dark. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.